Hey, so you know Kristi Noem, right? Trump's Homeland Security Secretary, the one who's doing such a fantastic job disappearing all of our neighbors? Well, she just had what might be the most embarrassing week of her career. And it all ends with getting caught in a lie so bad, they literally Maury Poviched her with a Zoom call to confront her. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me get back to it and let me tell you about this absolute train wreck and how it all unfolded. But real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Please take a moment to subscribe, hype this video, turn those notifications on. So here's what happened. There was this really tragic attack last week in DC where some of the US National Guard members got ambushed. The person who did it was an Afghan immigrant who came here during Biden's time and actually got asylum approved in April of this year under Trump's administration. The irony is just really there. Anyway, right after this happens, Noem goes on X, because that's what you do when you're Homeland Security Secretary, and says she met with Trump and now she's recommending, and I'm not exaggerating here, a permanent travel ban from basically all third world countries. But that's not even the wildest part. She literally wrote that she wants a full travel ban on every damn country that's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. Oh yeah, she used those exact words. Exactly what you want from your Homeland Security Secretary. Total composure, very measured language. She went on this whole thing about how our forefathers built the nation on blood and sweat, and we don't want any foreign invaders taking American benefits. She ended it with, we don't want them, not one, all caps, and everything, because nothing, like, she's trying to say I'm taking control of the situation. Like, she's screaming on the internet. Trump even reshared it on Truth Social because that's what he does. And now here's the thing. Nobody really knows which countries she's even talking about or how this would ever work. The whole third world thing is so vague. It's also a dated, coded term anyway. But hey, why let the details get in the way of a good rant, right? But oh man, did the internet let this slide? No way. People immediately started roasting her. Somebody wrote, what borders on insanity? Canada and Mexico? Which honestly, well done. Others are calling it embarrassing, pointing out the irony of everything, talking about how unhinged the whole post sounded. You know, just another normal day in paradise. And then there's this.
Secretary Noem, let's talk about the law. Do you agree that asylum is a lawful pathway to immigrate to this country? Yes or no?
There's an asylum program, yes, in place.
All right. So immigrants then with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country, correct?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Your question was?
Immigrants with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country.
There are individuals in this country that have applications that...
And they are legally here because it's a lawful pathway, right?
It's a lawful pathway.
Okay, so if your department then deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law, correct?
Joe Biden left us with...
I'm not asking about Joe Biden. I'm asking you a specific question. If your department deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Is that correct?
It was greatly violated when they allowed
I'm asking you.
people to come
I'm
in
asking
and
you.
granted asylum applications.
Why are you filibustering? Why can't you answer the question? It's a simple question.
Your president,
if your department
your secretary
deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Isn't that correct?
the asylum program was broken under the last...
Mr. Chairman, I will reclaim my time. She's not answering the question. But the obvious answer is that, yes, if you follow a lawful pathway, asylum is a lawful pathway, if you have an open asylum case, you are here lawfully. But the problem that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law, and asylum is a law, and deport people who have ongoing applications. Unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening.
And get this. There's this clip going around of Representative Dan Goldman, and here it is. He's absolutely grilling her about all this. She tried to do her usual thing, you know, the classic blame Joe Biden for literally everything routine, but Goldman just wasn't having it. He went point by point, cutting through all of her talking points like butter, and asked her this really simple question. If immigrants with active asylum cases are legally here, isn't deporting them actually against the law? And she just couldn't answer. Nothing. Crickets. No comebacks, no shooting dogs, just another awkward moment of silence. And it was one of those beautiful moments where you're like, wow, I can really just watch this all day. Somebody realized that they've painted themselves into a corner. Really, really great stuff from our top security official. And then
Secretary Noem, I'll give you one thing. You showed up today rather than throwing a civil servant under the bus like Director Patel did. But you have systematically dismantled the Department of Homeland Security, put your own interests above the department, and violated the law. You are making America less safe. So rather than sitting here and wasting your time and ours with more corruption, lies, and lawlessness, I call on you to resign. Do a real service to the country and just resign. That is, if President Trump doesn't fire you first. I yield back.
But wait, it gets even better for her because ranking member Bennie G Thompson, this guy does not mince his words. He straight up told her, you're making America less safe. And, you know, just casually telling the Homeland Security Secretary that she's failing at her one job. He then called on her to resign right there. He said something like, rather than sitting here wasting our time and yours with more corruption, lies, and lawlessness, I call on you to resign. That's it. If President Trump doesn't fire you first. Woo-hoo. Like, can you imagine that a sitting congressman telling the Homeland Security Secretary, quit because you're making the country less safe? That's literally the opposite of what she's supposed to be doing. It's like hiring a lifeguard who can't swim. Stellar work all around. And then
I want to be very clear. You have misused resources appropriated by Congress. You've engaged in unethical behavior. You have repeatedly made false and misleading statements to Congress and to the press, and you've undermined the separation of powers and disregarded the role of Congress and the courts. Bottom line, you lie with impunity. You reject checks and balances, and you ignore Congress and the courts. Your options are limited. Either you're going to resign, Trump's going to fire you, or you will be impeached. I've already called for your resignation. You may remember I hand-delivered my request to you back in May, and I urge you to reconsider resignation because I've taken the first step towards your impeachment, and I've called on the Judiciary Committee to open an investigation into your lawlessness. Mr. Chairman, I know that at the end we'll be entering a number of articles into consent, but since I have a few moments, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter calling the Judiciary Committee to investigate Secretary Noem's impeachable offenses. Whatever you choose, the American people will have justice, Secretary, and you will be held accountable. I'm going to make sure of that every single day. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.
Representative Delia Ramirez just completely laid it all out too. No sugarcoating. She told Noem straight up, bottom line, with impunity, you reject checks and balances and you ignore Congress and the courts. Your options are limited. Either you're going to resign, Trump's going to fire you, or you will be impeached. I mean, talk about not pulling any punches. She basically gave her a multiple choice test with 3 options and they all suck. Pick your poison, Kristi Noem. Resign, get fired, or impeached. What a menu of options. And then at this point, you think it just can't get any worse for her, right? Like, surely this is rock bottom. But no, we haven't even gotten to the best part yet.
Madam Secretary, how many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
We owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Se-Jun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our laws.
Can you please tell Mr. Park why you deported him?
Every one of them needs to be enforced.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD, many veterans struggle with substance abuse challenges. This man took 2 bullets for our country. You have broad authority, by the way, as Secretary, to issue humanitarian parole, to do deferred action. Will you commit to at least looking at Mr. Park's case to see if you can help him find a pathway back to this country that he sacrificed so much for?
I will absolutely look at his case, but I want you to remember that
Madam Secretary, the man behind you, please stand up, sir. His name is Jim Brown from Troy, Missouri. He is a Navy combat veteran who served our country in the Gulf War. He's married to a woman named Donna, who came to our country legally from Ireland when she was 11 years old. She has lived here for 48 years. Because of you, Jim's wife, Donna, has been in prison for the last 4 months. She did not come here illegally, and she has never committed any crime other than writing 2 bad checks totaling $80 10 years ago. She is currently in prison and facing deportation. Ms. Noem, will you thank Mr. Brown for his service to our country?
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your service to our country.
Now, what possible explanation can there be for locking up his wife for 4 months when she has committed no crime other than writing a couple of bad checks for $80?
Sir, it is not my prerogative, my latitude, or my job to pick and choose which laws in this country get enforced.
You have broad discretion as the Secretary. You can issue, you can do all kinds of things, but you're choosing not to. Will you commit, again, to just reviewing Donna's case and reuniting this combat veteran with his beloved wife, who also loves this country?
I will review the case.
Remember how I said she got caught in a lie so bad they Maury Poviched her? They literally brought evidence in on a Zoom call. Okay, you haven't deported any veterans. Here's a deported veteran joining us here today. Rep Magaziner asked her a pretty straightforward question. How many veterans have you deported? And Noem says confidently, and I mean confidently, we saw it. We haven't deported any veterans, just flat out, no hesitation. We haven't deported any veterans. And then, oh good, this is just beautiful. We are now joined on Zoom by a combat veteran you deported to Korea. Like, he literally had the guy on Zoom right there, just waiting, sitting, waiting, a combat veteran who served this country, and they deported him to Korea. And she just sat there and said that they hadn't deported any veterans, just straight up lied with her whole chest, and then got immediately called out with receipts. Some of the best receipts I've seen in my time doing this, with an actual human being on the call who she deported. I mean, how do you even recover from that? You're caught in a lie in real time, on the record, with living, breathing evidence of your lie. Literally at the screen, staring right at you. This is the person in charge of our homeland security. This is the person who's making decisions about who gets to stay in this country and who gets kicked out. The person who can't even keep track of whether she's deporting veterans or not. It's just absolutely perfect. Everything is fine. We're all doing great. This is exactly how things should run. Wild times. We are living in wild times, my friend. And real quick, again, I'm Lauren Paritra. Please take a moment to subscribe. Hype this video. It takes all of us to fight this nonsense and stop Kristi Noem from killing dogs and our immigrant neighbors.